Welcome to the Big 12 on ESPN, and welcome to Senior Day at Arizona State. Moms throwing out the first pitches to their daughters. 8 seniors being honored here today. It's Arizona State set to take on Nyjah Kennedy and Texas Tech, the best in the game, set to step into the circle for the 5th-ranked Red Raiders. Great to have you with us alongside Madison Shipman. I'm Eric Freed. Before we get to Game 2 of this series, let's start with Game 1 because we had a great pitcher's duel until the 4th inning.
Yeah, we figured it was going to be a pitcher's duel with a ton of strikeouts, and that's exactly what we got in Game 1 of this series. Caitlin Terry getting the start for Texas Tech, and she had her velocity and her movement going right from the beginning part of the game. Kenzie Brown ended up with 10 strikeouts on the day as well, so you figured it was going to come down to a timely piece of hitting. Well, it was 2 timely pieces of hitting, 2 home runs, 2 two-run shots off of the bats of Taylor Panel and Desiree Spearman to give Texas Tech the lead. Caitlin Terry ended up going the distance in this one. Arizona State got close to getting on the board, but it was Texas Tech and Caitlin Terry with the win in Game 1 of this series.
6-0 was the final. They did it, Texas Tech did, without Nyjah Kennedy. I mean, that's what this team is right now. They have 2 aces in the circle. You'll see Kennedy coming up today. We
saw a lot of strikeouts yesterday, and I can guarantee there's going to be some more strikeouts out there today. And Nyjah Kennedy is somebody who, when she steps out into the circle, you know she's going to have a target on her back. Back-to-back NCAA Pitcher of the Year. So how does she continue to get better? Well, it's expanding her repertoire, using more pitches outside of just the rise ball, which is the pitch that she is known for, but working the curveball, working the screwball, working those changeups. And that's how she's already up to over 1,000 strikeouts and counting throughout her collegiate career.
See Nyjah in the dugout getting set to go out there for the bottom half of the 1st inning. 18 wins on the season. Here is the starting lineup for the Red Raiders, with Maya Davis in the leadoff spot, followed by Caitlin Terry, Mia Williams, Jackie Liss, and then Taylor Panel moves up a spot. Taylor
Panel getting the scoring started yesterday with that 2-run home run, and Coach Jerry Glasgow really excited about the way that she has been swinging the bat recently and hoping that home run can kind of get her on a hitting streak for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
In the circle for Arizona State, it'll be Mika Lupi.
Mika Lupi going to throw a bit different than what Texas Tech had to face yesterday with Kenzie Brown. You're going to see her work the ball down in the bottom part of the zone. And she throws with very good velocity as well.
She starts to strike 1 to Maya Davis. Here's the scouting report for Lupi.
Prime example of what you're going to see a ton of from Lupi. Low 70s again. She is the hardest thrower on this Arizona State staff. A lot of those ground ball outs with the drop ball in the bottom part of the zone.
Davis fouls it off, down in the count 0-2. Davis, the senior center fielder, at .442 on the season. Great speed. Was 0 for 3 with a walk in Game 1 yesterday. Just missing inside. It's 1-2 to Davis. Lupi, her 33rd appearance, that's #1 on the team, her 14th start, 10 wins on the season. Opponent's hitting .305 against her, so she'll have to be under that number here today against this tough Texas Tech attack.
And it really just comes down to the location of both her curveball and her drop ball. You can see the late movement that she gets on the curveball, not afraid to throw it inside to the left-handed batters, but just being consistent in where she's able to execute those pitches with so many powerful bats top to bottom.
Fouled off by Davis. We'll do the 2-2 again. Gorgeous now here in Tempe. 2 o'clock local time start. A lot of clouds this morning, but the sun's out right now. 83 degrees at first pitch. See a lot of blue sky right now. Up and in, and Davis has worked the count full. Lupi doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, 50 on the season and 89 innings of work. Davis making her work here, leading things off for Tech.
Already Maya Davis seeing a little bit of everything that Mika Lupi is going to bring out there in the circle, really making her work. And what this does too, not just to benefit Maya Davis's at bat, but also everybody else in the dugout. Caitlin Terry standing on deck is getting more and more looks at what they're going to see out of Lupi.
Pitch number 8. misses for ball 4. Good AB for Davis, who is a threat to run. 5th in the country in stolen bases this season.
You can see where Mika Lupi gets a lot of her outs. 60% ground ball on her out distribution, 18% on flyouts, 17% on lineouts on the balls that have been tracked so far this year. But a lot of those ground ball outs, so the defense has to be ready.
Davis on the move on the first pitch to Caitlin Terry, fouled off for strike 1. Terry at .504 on the season. She is 5th in the country in hitting and 5th in the country in earned run average.
Just incredible what she's able to do. And at the level that she's able to do it too, and the competitiveness that she brings when she's out there on the field. One of the first things too that Coach Jerry Glasgow talked to us about when we were asking him about Caitlin Terry was her speed. You think of her arm in the circle, you think of her bat, but he was talking a lot about her elite speed and her running the bases.
Davis will head back to first after it's fouled off by Terry. Caitlin did struggle at the plate yesterday, 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. 33 of 39 for Davis on the season. Two to Caitlin Terry. 0 for 4 at the plate was the only thing she didn't get right last night. What a dominant performance in the circle for the junior from nearby Glendale. That misses. It's 3-2. So back-to-back full counts for Lupi to deal with for the first two hitters for Texas Tech.
And that's going to be a tough location if she's not going to get those calls today, because that's where Mika Lupi wants to get those strikes called, right at the bottom of the zone, just barely clipping where the knees are on these hitters.
Squibbed foul. Again, Davis going. This is a very aggressive mindset on the bases for Texas Tech. We saw it last year en route to the Champ Series in Oklahoma City. They have 109 stolen bases this year. That matches their total for all of last year. A couple of stolen bases last night.
One other aspect of the speed and the aggressiveness that you're talking about, Eric, for Texas Tech on the base paths, when you're facing somebody like Mika Lupi, who's going to induce a lot of ground ball outs, it can put extra pressure on the defense to have to make those plays when you already have runners that are in motion, especially somebody like Maya Davis that has elite speed.
That was the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Terry. So Davis and Terry with some long at-bats here to get things started for Texas Tech.
And I'm thinking back to yesterday's game. There were a couple of half innings where there were 7-pitch innings. So got 3 outs recorded in a half an inning yesterday, and that haven't even reached the total of pitches that Caitlin Terry's seen.
Back-to-back walks to get things started for the Red Raiders here in the first.
And this is where Mika Lupi really has to figure out that strike zone, try to figure out that consistency, because now you're getting to the heart of this Texas Tech order. A lot of power between Mia Williams, Jackie Liss, and Taylor Panel, and Desiree Spearman right in the middle of this Red Raiders offense.
Williams fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. Team leader in home runs with 17. Knocked in her 64th run of the season last night. 1 for 4, a double in the 6-0 win for Texas Tech. The 0-1. Hit well to right field, but now it's coming in and making a long run, but unable to get there is Avila. And it's 0-2 now to Mia Williams. Back-to-back walks issued by Lupi. She's had pretty good control this season. Came in with just 24 walks in 89 innings of work. Extra base hits, the specialty for Mia Williams in her first season in Lubbock. Slow roller. There's one at third across the diamond, and a huge double play Ground ball thrown by Loopy, 2 down.
And that's the exact game plan. Mika Loopy isn't somebody that needs to go out there and rack up 10 strikeouts in a game, but she can get big outs because of the way that she's able to locate her hard drop ball. This time she works the drop ball in on the hands of Mia Williams, and a nice play over at third base by Emily Shep to go ahead and step on third and fire across to first base for the 5-3 double play.
Terry at second, and here's Jackie List, the cleanup hitter. Takes strike one. List at .466 on the season. Top 4 in the lineup for Texas Tech, hitting .438 or better this year. Loopy's been working ahead, misses there for ball 1, 1-1. But then she's fallen behind and walked the first 2, but a ground ball exactly where it needed to be for Arizona State. Right to Shep at the bag. And then the throw to first to double up Williams. One and two.
I know it's still early in this game, Eric, but when I'm watching Loopy and the pitches that she's throwing, she's executing some really nice drop balls down in the bottom part of the zone that have some great bite, and then other times she's missing her drop balls almost towards the top of the zone. So to me, it just comes down to finding that consistency with her release of that pitch.
Misses down for ball 2, 2-2.
And to go along with that as well, when you're missing a bit at the top part of the zone and at the bottom part of the zone, that's where you might not get some of those close calls on those drop balls low at the knees.
Hard shot, grabbed by Shep at third, over to first to retire the side. So the back-to-back walks to start the game do not hurt Arizona State as Loopy gets out of the jam. And now it's Nyjah Kennedy stepping onto the field and into the circle for Texas Tech. Ready for the home half of the first here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe, Texas Tech and Arizona State. And the Sun Devils, 35 wins on the season, 8 in Big 12 play, an RPI of 24. Tanya Wendell, Kaylee Pond, 1-2. Samantha Swan had a couple great at-bats last night, but nothing to show for it.
She really had some great swings, and sometimes that just happens in the game of softball. You hit it right on the money, and it happens to go right to a defender.
Nyjah Kennedy starts with strike one to Tanya Wendell. Senior from Topeka.
Stop me if you've heard this before, Eric, but we're going to see a lot of strikeouts and a lot of rise balls and high velocity. Great example there already early in this game. You're seeing that upspin on that pitch, that rise ball. That's her go-to pitch. That's her strikeout pitch. That's where she's going to get a lot of her swing and misses. But she has been mixing in the screwball, the curveball, and the changeup a lot this year as well.
Wendell slaps it foul. Almost a good grab Down the line. Tanya, 385 on the season, 29th game of the season, missed 21 with an injury suffered after making a diving play in the outfield earlier this year. Really tough to strike out. And facing one of the best right here in Kennedy, who hits her with the 0-2 pitch. So the leadoff aboard for Arizona State.
Looked like Nigeri Kennedy was trying to come in with that change of trying to get some swing and miss on the off-speed pitch, and instead just hangs on to this pitch a little bit too long. And when she hangs on to it, that's where it's going to carry over into the arm guard of Tanya Windle. Looked like it just got her on the elbow. So that's a leadoff base runner for Arizona State, trying to get some life in that dugout.
Ball one to Kaylee Pond. Sixth-year center fielder for Arizona State, 338 on the season. She's battled through injuries throughout her career. One of the seniors honored here today for Arizona State on Senior Day. 8 being honored. And it took a while for Kaylee to get to Senior Day after missing 2 full seasons with knee injuries at Iowa State and also with Cal.
And the way she's battled through those injuries and the way that she stepped up for this team as well. Had a chance to talk to head coach Megan Bartlett before yesterday's ball game, and talking a lot about the way that Kaylee Pond has shown a ton of leadership for this team to try to get them to where they are in this point in the season, having what feels like the entire roster dealing with some sort of injury at some point this season.
Sun Devils really had to battle through it this year. 3-2 the count now to Pond. By the way, I think it's official. You can put it in pen that Nigeri Kennedy is starting here today.
I still have not highlighted yet, because I know that got me yesterday. I prematurely highlighted, had to scratch it out.
Every time. Kennedy gets the strikeout. 1 down. She was slated to start. Jerry Glasgow told us before the game, I have a feeling I may go with Caitlin Terry. Well, Kennedy was listed as a starter, and then when it was time for the bottom of the first, Caitlin Terry went out to the circle. So I would say Jerry's feeling paid off. And he told us pregame it's the first time she has not started the Friday of the weekend series. Great effort by Vic Valdez into the netting, but it's a dead ball, strike 1.
The way that Vic Valdez just literally flew straight into the netting back behind home plate. I thought she was going to catch this ball the way she was tracking it. She doesn't even take the time to throw off her mask. She immediately runs over, dives into the netting, and it is just out of her reach.
The bat goes flying out of the hands of Samantha Swan. It's 0-2.
Pretty much opposite sides of the netting. We saw Vic Valdez go flying in the opposite side of the netting to try to make a play, and then we saw the bat go flying down the third base side of the netting.
I would say the netting test is complete. It's working just fine. 0-2 now to Swan. Last night, her 14-game hitting streak came to a close. She has been locked in. 424 on the season, starting play today. Popped up, back behind the plate, and out of play.
She might not have gotten a hit yesterday, but I thought that she had really good quality at-bats. She was getting pitches that she was just aggressive. She was hunting at some of these rise balls that were way up and out of the strike zone, taking her barrel straight to it, hitting it hard off of the bat right to the outfielder. Sometimes there's just nothing else you can do as a batter but just tip your cap. And it can be very frustrating, because you might have some days where you bloop in a ball for a base hit, and then you go out there and you smoke the ball left and right all over the field, and it goes right to
especially
somebody.
Her last 2 at-bats. They're 2 of the hardest hit balls of the night, yet you come out of the game an 0 for 3. You see your hitting streak go by the boards, your on-base streak come to a close. But I'm sitting next to an All-American right now. If you come out of that game, you're 0 for 3, you're like, I was seeing it great, I hit it great, I can't wait to get into the batter's box tomorrow and have another crack at it.
That's where really relying on the process helps you out.
That's in on the hands. There's one of those bloops, and it's going to bloop into foul ground. See, wouldn't that have been perfect timing if that was about 2 yards to the right and it drops in, and she barreled up 3 balls last night. She gets one on the knob and almost drops it in for a hit.
Eric, the game just knows, so I would not be surprised if that happens today, but also with the way that Samantha Swan has been swinging the bat, I also wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more and more line drives getting hit hard off of the bat.
Kennedy misses the mark with that delivery. Wendell will jog to second base as Swan is aboard with a 1-out walk.
You're seeing Nigeri trying to get a feel for that changeup early in the game. Ended up hitting Tanya Wendell on the elbow guard with that changeup in the first at bat, and then missing towards the backstop on that last changeup. And see her go-to pitch is that rise ball. She's going to use that one over 50% of the time. Does like to mix in the east and west too with the screwball in the curveball combination. Also, those pitches coming in about 70 miles per hour.
This is for ball 1 to Emily Shep. Shep hitting cleanup. Junior third baseman, 327 on the season, 1 for 3. That hit a double last night. 1-1 to Shep. Kennedy's last appearance, pitched in both games of the midweek doubleheader against UTEP. The start came in game 2 when she went 3 innings. There's a strike. Previous start to that was at Texas State, where she suffered the loss. Went 6, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, as Texas Tech was shut out by Texas State. Nasty changeup, Schlepp way out in front, 2 down.
You can see when that pitch is on time, when she's able to release that pitch with the spin, it looks like it's one of those rise balls coming out of her hand, and Shep way out in front on that swing. And honestly, I don't blame Shep for being out in front because of the way that Nigeri had thrown the changeups prior to that. You're not expecting a changeup in that situation. You're thinking maybe she's going to come back with a rise ball or another one of those curve balls moving away from you. So you almost cheat a little bit to the 70-mile-per-hour pitch, but then Nigeri comes right back with that changeup and pulls the string on it.
Quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 to Ashley Mejia, the DP, who was 0 for 3 yesterday. Mejia missed the Houston series last weekend, made her return last night for the Sun Devils. 338 on the season. Blooper, center field, could be trouble, but not trouble for Haley Tony, who had a beat on it, got there to retire the side. We are scoreless after 1 in Tempe. One inning in the books here in game 2 of this 3-game series. First place Texas Tech. With a win here today, they would clinch at least a share of the regular season championship in the Big 12 for a second straight year. They are in the driver's seat. They have the tiebreaker over Arizona. So most likely the #1 seed coming up in the Big 12 tournament in OKC. Taylor Panel last night got things going at the plate.
This was really the swing that completely changed the game. Kenzie Brown was rolling. She had a rise ball working, drop ball working. She decides to throw a first pitch changeup to Taylor Panel in that at bat, and she knocks it straight out of the yard, out to center field to give the Red Raiders the lead. And it seemed to be a common theme for Texas Tech yesterday, the 2-out runs. All 6 of their runs were scored with 2 outs.
Panel 2 for 3 with that 2-run home run, a double. Couple of runs scored in game 1. Ground ball right side to Tiade Ho-Ching. 1 away. That first inning felt pretty good for Loopy. It must have felt pretty good for her because back-to-back walks, but then she gets the ground ball, and you said she is a ground ball pitcher. She got the ground ball right to third. Shep turned the double play, and then Jackie Liss hit it hard for the final out of that first inning. But down at third, Shep, who is a converted catcher over the third base, made the play, and that really helped Loopy get out of that inning. And here she is in inning number 2.
Sometimes, too, when you're a pitcher coming into a game like today, facing Texas Tech and it's senior day, you can be a bit more amped up to try to throw a little bit harder. She already throws with really good velocity, and if you try too hard to throw the ball hard, then sometimes you don't get as much movement on your pitches as you would like to see. So for her, it just comes down to finding that sweet spot between the movement and the spin and the velocity to be able to try to get some more of these ground ball outs.
1-1 the count to Desiree Spearman. In there for a strike, and it's 1-2. I think Spearman agreed with the 2 strike calls.
We got a chance to be down on the field as Texas Tech was taking some batting practice before today's game, and the way that the ball comes off of the bat of Desiree Spearman just sounds different.
Line drive to right, coming in and making the catch is Avila, 2 down.
Prime example of some of the swings that we saw earlier today. She almost just lets the ball travel to the point where it feels like it's almost behind home plate, but that's how she's able to get the carry and get the distance. And that one went right to Yazzie Avila out there in right field.
I'll bring up the shortstop, Haley Toney. 2-year starter at short for Texas Tech. Take strike 1. Haley 1 for 1 last night with a walk and a run scored. 45th win of the season for the Red Raiders. 17th in Big 12 play. Slap foul, and it's 0-2. Second to last weekend of the regular season. Teams will wrap it up in the Big 12 next weekend. Then for the top 8, it's on to Oklahoma City in the Big 12 tournament. Toney on an 0-2 pitch with a solid single to right with 2 down.
Texas Tech just continuing that trend of getting some big hits with 2 outs, and this time it comes from Haley Toney. Really nice swing on this pitch. It's a drop ball again, just up a hair in the zone, and she's able to get her barrel right underneath that pitch and drive it with authority out there into the right center gap.
Here's the senior catcher, Vic Valdez. Caught yesterday, but was not in the batting order for Texas Tech. Did get a plate appearance later in the game and grounded into a inning-ending ground out. She is 0 for 15 on the season, so doesn't hit a lot and takes ball 1.
Almost had her first hit in yesterday's ball game. It deflected off of Emily Shep at third base and went straight over to Brooklyn Ulrich at shortstop, and she made the play over at first base.
Ground ball to the second baseman. Ho-Ching to first, and that will do it for Texas Tech in the second, scoreless after 1.5 in Tempe. Senior day here at Arizona State. Not just a little pregame ceremony. You have to have the pregame catch.
I think this is one of the coolest things, to go out there and play catch with your parents before the game. A little bit of a throwback too, because I'm sure that that's what a lot of these players did growing up when they first got started playing softball. And what a cool moment this was. Kenzie Brown for Arizona State coming out and handing a flower to Nigeri Kennedy, a hug at the plate. Two of one of the best strikeout pitchers across the country.
Nice gesture by Arizona State to recognize the seniors for Texas Tech as part of the pregame ceremony, and you got a couple of All-American pitchers meeting at the plate. That was pretty neat. I'm looking around the park here too, see if some of those dads have their shoulders iced up, because I have a feeling it's been a while since they did any sort of long toss with their daughters.
I don't know, maybe they were prepping for this date too.
I would hope so.
So we saw the moms out there throwing out the first pitch for today's game. Always cool to see how different programs celebrate Senior Day, and I think that's one of the coolest traditions too, to be able to go out there and play catch with your parents before the game.
Katie Chester fouls it off.
Although I think if I went out there and played catch with my dad before my senior day, he'd probably still be critiquing my throw at some point.
Great crowd here on a beautiful day in the Valley. Misses up for a ball. It's 2-2 to Chester. Leading the Sun Devils with 17 home runs and 57 RBI in the season. In fact, she just needs 4 home runs to tie the single season record at Arizona State. Lays off. Count is full.
Had a great chance to talk to Coach Bartlett about Katie Chester before yesterday's ball game too, and just what's led to her success and her numbers that they have seen so far this year. And one of the first things that Coach talked about was the fact that she does not let the game speed up on her. She's always calm, cool, and collected. And you can see that in this at-bat too, just battling her way back against Nigeri Kennedy, watching that changeup miss for ball 4, and it's another walk for Arizona State.
So some control issues for Kennedy. Hit batter and a couple of walks so far. And a runner aboard here for Arizona State. Tomorrow, NWSL, Angel City and Portland in Los Angeles. Our coverage starts 6 Eastern time. You can also catch it on ESPN Deportes and the ESPN app. We saw it in the first inning of the first 19 pitches that Niger threw, 9 for balls, 10 for strikes, but then 6 straight strikes to close out the inning. But trying to find that command here in inning 2.
It's kind of been a combination of, one, the command and not necessarily seeing that consistency from Nigeri Kennedy, but also some really good takes from this Arizona State offense too. We just saw Katie Chester watch that changeup go by for a strike after she had swung at a rise ball up and out of the zone earlier in the at-bat. And you wonder, too, for this offense, the game plan, I'd imagine, was try to lay off that rise ball, try to see the ball down against Nigeri Kennedy. So will we see her go to more of those curveballs, more of those screwballs? Those are going to be the pitches that are going to stay pretty much between belt high and thigh high, rather than going with that rise ball up and out of the zone.
Off the plate, 2-1 to Yazzie Avila. Junior right fielder at 326 on the season. 0 for 1 with a walk last night. Chester with the leadoff walk. Wendell was aboard in the first, hit by a pitch to lead things off. Count's gone full to 3 of the first 6 batters here for Arizona State today. 3-1 now the count to Avila. Another full count.
They're really just forcing Nigeri Kennedy to have to come into the zone and not expanding outside of the zone, and that's all part of the game plan for these batters going up against these strikeout pitchers. What can you do to give yourself the edge?
Called strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Kennedy. 1 away. Well, I think a lot of people saw that Texas State result and an earlier loss in the season for Nyjah Kennedy. It's like, okay, is something happening here with the All-American? This is the comparison through 27 appearances. This is appearance number 28 on the season. Ground ball back to Kennedy to second for 1, and beating it out down the line is Ulrich. I think we'll have a challenge here from Texas Tech. They did not hesitate to challenge this call. We'll come back to that comparison for Nyjah in a moment. All right, let's see.
It looked in real time like it was pretty close over there. Tough call to make. It's important, too, to know what the call was on the field. So the call on the field was that she was safe running down that first baseline.
I think the call may stand.
I think so, too. Because remember, when you're looking at that ball entering the glove, too, you want to start to see that glove move around that softball.
Yeah, her foot's on the bag, and we're still seeing a lot of fluorescent yellow right there, right, as it goes into the glove, Madison?
Yeah, it looks like her foot is on first base just a hair before that ball ends up entering the back of the glove of Jackie Liss. So I'm with you. I think that this one is going to stand, but I have been wrong on a review or two in my past.
Haven't we both been wrong?
How quickly, too, double plays and ground ball double plays especially can change the way that an inning looks. We already
100%.
saw that from the Texas Tech offense, and a nice job by Loopy for Arizona State to get them out of the jam. And now Nyjah Kennedy, who looks like maybe she's struggling a bit with her command, and that's going to happen from time to time, but gets a ground ball right back to her, fires to second base.
Well, just to button up the comparison for Nyjah, 27 games into last year and 27 games into this year. I think the number that jumps up, and Jerry Glasgow talked to us about this, her innings way down this year compared to last year. Earn run average is up a little bit. Now remember, pitched into deep into the season, to the last game of the season, comes the call from the umpires. I'll get Madison's thought on Nyjah in a moment. Runner safe, so unsuccessful challenge for Texas Tech. They have 1 remaining. Really, for Nyjah and from Jerry Glasgow's point of view, and I'm curious what you've seen with Nyjah. Have you watched so much tape? I think there wasn't a preseason for her. You know, they wanted just to rest her. There wasn't a fall season for her, and it was taking a little time to ramp her up this year, maybe.
They wanted her to be back to feeling healthy when she went out there in the circle. So, of course, that's going to be #1 priority after she threw so many innings last year. And when you look at the innings number and the comparison, I think, too, you have to think about Caitlin Terry coming over, too, and adding to the pitching staff for Texas Tech, and how she's been able to go out there and throw inning after inning and throw complete games like we saw last night. So that's going to take some more pressure off of the shoulders of Nyjah out there in the circle. But when you look, too, at the beginning of the year into where Nyjah is now, the velocity has ramped up quite a bit. Beginning of the year, we saw her throwing her pitches maybe 67, 68, and you're seeing her consistently throw 70, 71, 72 miles per hour with her pitches, which tells me that she's ramping up at the right time. So when I look at those numbers, I don't think that there's any reason to think that she's not as effective as she was last season.
Popped up foul ground towards the Texas Tech dugout. Another good effort by Vic Valdez, but it falls into the Tech dugout.
And the other aspect of it, too, is every team that goes out there to play Texas Tech, especially when Nyjah is out there in the circle, they want to say that they're the team that beats Nyjah. They want to figure out a game plan. So I guarantee there are teams out there that are spending weeks trying to prepare for the game plans against Nyjah in the circle.
Another one fouled out of play. I think you made a great point about Caitlin Terry, who comes over to Texas Tech. So she is an ace. Nyjah's the ace, but Terry is close behind. We saw what she did last night. She's up to 100 innings on the season. She's 19-1 on the season, now playing right field today. That misses. But that innings number is really low when you think about what Nyjah did from the Super Regionals through Oklahoma City, where
pitched
she
and pitched and pitched and pitched some more.
So she's got a little energy in the bank, and she's got a little help who's out in right field today in Terry. And that makes Texas Tech dangerous. I know they've had a couple of stumbles. The bats have gone quiet at tough times, but think about what she did last year. 686 consecutive pitches.
Look at that, 47 strikeouts in 49 innings pitched, and that's against the best of the best across the country, and just 7 walks too. So that tells me that her command is right on the money at the end of the season, which is exactly when everybody wants to be playing their best softball.
I think the umpires are trying to get the count straight, so there's a little communication right now just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Scoreboard's got 3-2. We have 2-2. Jerry Glasgow has his opinion. I think the consensus up here is that the count is 2-2. Nigel is just like, just tell me what the count is, because I'm ready to go. Popped up to the shortstop. Tony's got it, and that will do it for Arizona State in the second. We are scoreless after 2 at Arizona State.
Exclusively on ESPN, 40-plus NCAA championships. Confetti rains. Nets are cut. Joy erupts. Hardware is hoisted. History happens here on ESPN, home of NCAA championships.
Welcome back. 16th meeting all time between Arizona State and Texas Tech. Arizona State with 10 wins in the series. Texas Tech with wins in 4 of the last 5 meetings, including last night in game 1 of the series, 6-0 the final. The previous matchup was in Oklahoma City, 18-0 final in the Big 12 tournament. Off the glove of the shortstop, and Allreds aboard to lead things off for Texas Tech here in the third. An error on Ulrich.
You can see Brooklyn Ulrich even tapping her chest saying, that's my bat on this play. This one's hit hard off of the bat of Lauren Allred, but instead of trying to get in front of that ground ball, Ulrich goes for the backhand on this one hopper, and instead of getting it right in the glove, it kind of rolls up her wrist a little bit.
Hot shot through the left side, and Maya Davis wastes no time to get a base hit. First and second quickly here for Tech in the third.
Now you're seeing Texas Tech in this offense. They haven't necessarily lifted the ball up in the air a ton, but they are hitting the ball hard down on the ground. Seems like they're making that adjustment with their barrels just to get underneath these drop balls enough to get them through the infield.
We saw Isa Silva last night pitch the 7th inning. Loopy comes inside to Terry, who was looking to bunt for ball 1. Terry walked her first time. Jerry Glasgow wants to talk to Terry, and I believe the base runners as well. Just one base runner is going to bring Davis over, as Allred's going to go towards the dugout. And she's going to leave for a pinch runner. Looks like Michaela Garcia is going to run. Remember, it was scoreless in the 4th inning in the meeting last night, and then the Texas Tech bats came to life. Madison mentioned all 6 runs for the Red Raiders scored with 2 outs last night, but they've got something going here with nobody out in the 3rd.
And this seems like a big spot, too, for Caitlin Terry, who's stepping up to the plate now with a runner over in scoring position. And when you watch the way that she gets set up in the batter's box, her body just practically facing straight at the pitcher, that right foot open towards the back part of that chalk line, and that right foot, her toe is pointed straight to Mika Lupi out there in the circle.
Terry offered at it, fouled it off. Or did she? I haven't seen. Yeah, now the home plate umpire indicates foul ball, and there was a little delay. Or was it a foul ball? Jerry Glasgow.
Like she went for it.
Yeah,
way.
Jerry Glasgow saying, "I want you on third base here," because he doesn't think there was a foul ball. I don't know if there was or not. A little confusion on the bases right now for Texas Tech.
Watching it live, I thought it was a foul ball. But to your point, Eric, the way that Coach Jerry Glasgow reacted and not necessarily seeing anything on the field from the umpires calling it a foul ball, he's wanting to see both of his runners advance over into scoring position. Here, we can take another look at it.
Changed a little direction, tough to tell. Terry drops down a bunt, foul ball.
Caitlin Terry just double checking to make sure that that one was called foul before she makes it back over into the batter's box. Now with 2 strikes, gonna get a chance to swing away here, try to use that lower half. And she's been able to do so well in the back part of this season to try to drive the ball, lift the ball, and get some power behind her swings.
Chopped too short and into the outfield for a base hit. Here comes the game's first run. Texas Tech on top 1-0. Garcia scores. Davis at second as Terry swinging away puts it in play and brings in a run here in the 3rd.
It's another nice pitch by Mika Lupi, a well-executed spot, and Caitlin Terry gets on top of this ball in that second hop. You can see the way that Brooklyn Ulrich is going after this ball. Again, doesn't quite get in front of it, and it actually takes a hop that stays lower to the ground than what she was expecting.
Williams looking to bunt.
This is where the defense just becomes so important when you've got a drop ball pitcher out there in the circle, especially with somebody that throws at the velocity that Mika Lupi does. You have to be able to come up with those plays. Try to at least keep the ball in front of you. If that ball stays in front of her, even if she doesn't get Caitlin Terry out over at first base, you have the bases loaded here rather than a run already having come across.
Williams to the shortstop, and you knew it was coming her way because it was scored an error on the previous play. It goes through the legs of Ulrich, and 2 runs are going to score, and Texas Tech has put 3 on the board here in the 3rd. Tough inning at shortstop for Brooklyn Ulrich. It's the first errors of the series for either team, all coming in this inning. 3 this inning on the shortstop.
And it's not like these are soft ground balls coming off of the bat of these Texas Tech batters. This one, again, it's that second hop where you're seeing it stay just closer to the ground than the hop prior to it. These are the ground balls where you have to decide, are you going to charge it? Are you going to try to get it on that short hop? Or do you take a step back with as hard hit as it was to try to get it on the longer hop? But she's just caught in between on these hops, on these ground balls on their way to her. And you know, too, as a defender, especially when you get into this point, and you've had a couple of balls go your way, and you're making some errors, making some mistakes, the inning is already starting to feel like it's going to snowball, you have to flip your mentality. You have to want the ground ball to come your way, because if you don't want it to come your way, I can guarantee you some more of those hard-hit ground balls are going to come right over to shortstop.
You played the position at an All-American level for 3 years, and you made more plays than you missed plays, but it's the ones
I made a few errors, yes.
But the ones that you miss, and the moments you see right now where you are at such an important part of the field, but you feel like you're the only person on the field at this point, don't you?
You know, it's interesting because I was actually joking with assistant coach Tara Archibald for Texas Tech about this. I was thinking back to my freshman year. We were playing down in Gainesville, and Ivy Renfro was out there in the circle, and I was over at shortstop, and I had missed like 3 or 4 ground balls straight in a row, just straight up errors, just could not field the ground ball for whatever reason.
This is to third, looking the runner back to throw to first for the out, and then breaking for third safely and diving in with 1 down. Continue. I want to hear the rest of the story. How many errors did you make in a row? Because I want to write this down.
In my head now, it's like, 4 or 5 in a row. I think it was at least 2, possibly 3 in a row. And you want to make those plays. You want to be there for your pitchers because they're doing their job. They're hitting their spots. So you want to be the one that's going to make the plays behind them. And I just remember calling time after my 2nd or 3rd error of the inning and walking into the circle and saying, Ivy, just keep pitching. Get me some more ground balls. I don't care if I have to stop it with my teeth. I'm going to stop a ground ball eventually in this inning.
Smile for me. Did you stop them with your teeth? Those look like your originals.
I may or may not have a veneer in here, but I did eventually make a play. We got out of the inning.
Slapped out to right, coming on and diving, but unable to make the catch. In right is Avila. Panel is aboard. Williams scores, and it's 4-0 Tech.
But I learned very quickly against especially an offense like the Florida Gators had back in 2011 that if you sit back and you think, I do not want this ground ball to come to me, that's exactly when you're going to get ground ball after ground ball after ground ball. So you have to flip the mindset. You have to be aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, try to make those plays, try to come up and get it on the short hop, as tough as it can be in innings like this when you know you've got your pitcher doing her job out there in the circle.
Desiree Spearman steps in, fly to right her first time. 7th Red Raider to come to the plate so far here in the 3rd. Strike 1. Desiree last night had an 11-pitch at-bat that didn't result in a home run. That one is a short hop. Safe at first as Spearman beats it out. I think Arizona State may challenge this one because Katie Chester's body language would let you know that felt like it was in my glove before I felt a foot hit the bag. And we will have a challenge here as Megan Bartlett's out of the dugout.
With as hard as Desiree Spearman hit this ball over to second base, I thought it was going to be a routine 4-6-3 double play all the way, but Spearman with good speed running down the first baseline. I think she might have beat this one out. Ooh, maybe not.
I think Katie Chester, she's the one, even with the double bag now, you could still feel that vibration on your foot if you're the first baseman. I think Katie thought she had it just in time. Now, the call on the field is safe, as Madison pointed out before. Is there enough that they'll see in replay here to overturn it and end the inning? We'll rack it back and forth, frame by frame. Tough to tell there. I think this is the angle when you're going to look at the ball disappear in the glove, right?
Yeah, I think right there is... Oof. It's so tough. Every time I watch it in slow motion, I'm changing my mind, Eric.
That usually is an indication that the call will stand.
That's true.
But they will take a minute or two to look at this one. Hard hit ball by Spearman again. Officials in the Big 12 handling the review, looking at the monitor. And they have the O-to-O to communication. Here's the call. I think it's one of those, if she was called out and Texas Tech challenged it, it would still stand.
Agreed,
right?
agreed. I am 100% with you on that.
So each team with one challenge remaining after each team has an unsuccessful challenge so far. Spearman aboard, and here's Tony. Ball one. Haley singled in the second, 2 for 2 in the series with a walk. So many new transfers to this Texas Tech program. Obviously, huge headlines this year. 7 transfers, 3 of the 7 All-Americans. But you have a player like Tony, who came in as a freshman last year, started at shortstop, Big 12 all-freshman team, didn't commit an error in conference play. And she has been a steady young player on a team of veterans that Jerry Glasgow has put together.
Made a couple of really nice plays at shortstop in game 1 yesterday. Moving up the middle, almost seems like she anticipates where those ground balls are going to end up. And I'm thinking back to last season, too, for Haley Tony at the end of the year. Really got hot at the end of the year up at the plate. Had struggled a bit towards the end of the regular season of Big 12 conference play, but it was at that Big 12 tournament where she got on this roll offensively. I remember sitting there and watching as she takes first base on that ball 4. It was a 3-2 count, I believe it was. And it was a battle. She had like a 10 or 11 pitch at bat, and she finally got a base hit into the gap. I want to say it was semifinals day leading up to that Big 12 championship, and then all of a sudden she was getting hits left and right through the rest of the postseason for Texas Tech.
Well, she has been on base all 4 plate appearances here for Texas Tech in this series so far. Here's Vic Valdez. Valdez, kick save and a beauty by Jerry Glasgow.
Looked like maybe he got it off the bottom of his foot, off the bottom of his shoe before it deflected out there into left field. Got to have your head on a swivel when you're the first and third base coaches, with as hard as these batters hit the ball. Very casual about that one, though.
1-1 to Valdez. Hit deep to left, hooking foul. That entire Texas Tech dugout was ready to explode, because if that was Vic Valdez's first hit of the season, that'd be one to remember. One and two. 2-2.
You can see after that foul ball, too, that long foul ball, Coach Jerry Glasgow clapping down there in the third base coach's box. He's taking a look at every single swing. He wants to see what these batters are doing, what adjustments they're making, even within the at-bat.
Throwing back, trying to get the runner at first, but sliding it safely is Tony.
It reminded me of yesterday's ball game when Taylor Panel, she ended up striking out in her first at-bat against Kenzie Brown, but Coach Glasgow had mentioned that she hit a foul ball down the left field line and said that that was one of the best swings that she had taken all year long, and then she comes up first pitch and hits a home run the very next at-bat.
Valdez, a little bloop on the infield, and it's put away by the shortstop, Ulrich, and that will end the third inning. 9 come to the plate for Texas Tech. 4 score thanks to 3 errors, and it's 4-0 Texas Tech. at Arizona State. 4-0 Texas Tech on top of the Sun Devils. On senior day, as Nigeri Kennedy now working with the lead. This one is hit well to center field, and it is gone. Tanya Wendell with a leadoff home run to get Arizona State on the board. It's 4-1.
How about that swing from Tanya Wendell on her senior day, her 6th home run on the season, and she does not miss, doesn't waste any time either. Goes up on this at bat and is hunting that rise ball at the top of the zone, takes her barrel straight to it and blasts it way out to center field to get Arizona State on the board in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
244 feet off the bat of the senior from Peoria. We talked about it earlier, how she's battled injuries this year. Great moment on senior day.
We did get a chance to meet her dad, Mike, earlier this week, so I'd imagine that he is running around here so thrilled.
No, he's down below us taking the victory lap. His daughter's in the dugout taking her victory lap. Cue shot down the line. This is going to be a base hit for Kaylee Pond.
Kaylee Pond fired up too after legging out that infield base hit. Hit that one straight off of the end of the bat. Sometimes all it takes is that one swing from your teammate to finally get stuff going, but she sees this one off of the bat and the corners were playing deep, and she took off hustling immediately and was able to beat that one out.
Well, back-to-back hits for Arizona State, and here is the dangerous Samantha Swan. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it off for strike 1. Swan walked her first time. Line shot foul, and it's 0-2.
Talked a lot about the success of Samantha Swan and the numbers that she's been able to produce so far this year. The jump that she's taken from last year, too. Batted .299 last year, coming into this weekend, batting over .430 with 16 doubles, 10 home runs, driving in a ton of runs for this team as well. And Coach had talked about her strength and how she has a background in powerlifting, too, coming over to Arizona State, and how she's the emotional rock for this team, too, being back there behind the plate, and puts herself with a good mentality to allow herself to succeed throughout the season.
Kennedy pulls the string, gets the strikeout, 1 down.
You can see she was geared up for that high velocity, kind of looking for that 70-mile-per-hour plus pitch, and instead Nigeri Kennedy comes back with that changeup, just pulling the string on that pitch. Tight spin and rotation on that changeup, too.
Emily Shep hits it hard but fouled. A couple hard hit balls this inning against Kennedy, this time off the bat of Shep, who struck out her first time. Was a catcher at Arizona, played in Tucson the last 2 years before transferring up to Tempe, and we've talked about it because of the injuries. She's had to learn a new position, third base.
She's had to make a couple of nice plays over at third base today, too.
Two one. Wendell started the inning for Arizona State with their 6th home run of the season. Pond followed with an infield single. Swan struck out looking, and now Shep looks at strike 2. towards the gap, right center field, and it is up and it is gone. Two-run shot, Emily Shep, one-run game in Tempe.
And just like that, Arizona State is right back in this game. There's an aggressiveness and an intentionality with the way that the batters are swinging the bats in this inning against Nyjah. This is a curveball going away from the barrel of Emily Shep, and she doesn't try to pull it to the left side. She just throws her hands at this curveball away and drives it over the wall, over the wall in right center field. What a swing by Emily Shep to get the Sun Devils back into this ball game. 228 feet out to right center field.
Shep goes deep, 2 home runs in the inning. That's 81 home runs on the season for Arizona State as a team. That's second in the Big 12 behind Texas Tech. Foul ball at the plate. 1-1 the count to Ashley Mejia. Nyjah Kennedy has now given up 12 home runs on the season. As a staff, Texas Tech has given up 29.
Going back and watching the games in which Arizona State had the most success offensively, I felt like the way that they were swinging the bats, just willing to swing and miss at times. And I think you have to be willing to swing and miss when you're facing Nyjah, or you're facing somebody like Caitlin Terry, knowing that it's okay, but you've got to be ready for that pitch if it does come into the zone.
Popped up left side of the infield. On the grass is Tony. Mejia retired, 2 down.
The swings just feel different in this inning than they have in the first 2 innings of this ball game. And maybe it is a product of that first home run leaving the yard off of the bat of Tanya Wendell, especially with it being senior day and her coming through in that moment. That could have just been the spark that this offense needed to get going.
Ball 1 to Katie Chester, who walked her first time. Chester, the team leader in home runs with 17. Samantha Lincoln has been working in that Texas Tech bullpen. That's popped up. Caitlin Terry was just down there a moment ago. Of course, Terry threw the gem last night, going the distance in the 6-0 win for Texas Tech, throwing the 2-hit shutout. There is Lincoln. Well, when she's been able to command that changeup, it has been extra nasty. But she's struggled with the control at times with that pitch and command some of the other pitches as well. 1-2 to Chester.
Back-to-back changeups from Nyjah there. Good job by Katie Chester just getting a piece of that one. You could see she was still out in front on that swing, but adjusted enough to foul it off down the left field line and see another pitch from Nyjah. Now wondering if she goes back to that rise ball.
Called strike 3. Chester is the 5th strikeout victim for Nyjah Kennedy, but she gives up 3 runs. Arizona State's back in it. We'll talk with their head coach, Megan Bartlett, next. One-run game as we head to the fourth, and Megan Bartlett is with us right now. Just got loud in the park, so Megan, I hope you can hear me. Not trying to make you cry, but my first question is about Senior Day. What has this group of seniors meant to you this year for your program?
My goodness, in the last 4 seasons, you know, we were in rough shape when a lot of them got here, just by nature of the coaching transition, and they've seen this thing back to a top 25 program. So there's just so much love and loyalty, and I think shared experience between all of us, and we're just so grateful for how they've, you know, put the program back on a national stage. They're great girls.
And speaking of seniors, Tanya Windle starting off that last inning with the home run. What did you see different from your swings in that inning against Nyjah?
Yeah, they're just looking a little more decisive, executing the game plan well. We have good hitters, and the reality is when they connect over and over again, we'll get a couple balls to leave the yard. That's kind of been the story of the season, but super proud of their fight and how they're competing, and we just got to keep putting pressure.
You love that grit, I know. Megan, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Coach.
After 4 runs in the top of the third, ASU bounces back with 3 in the bottom for Mika Lupi. Now a 1-run game as Allred leads off. Leadoff single to left off the bat of Lauren Allred. Gets to the track, and she'll cruise in the second. Standing up to start things here in the fourth.
Wasting no time, Texas Tech going to try to respond here after the Sun Devils put up 3 in the bottom of the third inning. Great swing by Lauren Allred, going up in the zone a bit with this drop ball, so she drives it out there into the left center gap. And good heads-up base running as well, rounding first base and making it all the way over into scoring position.
Gets away from the catcher. Davis was looking to bunt, no need, because on the wild pitch, Allred takes third with nobody out. Maya Davis singled and scored her last time. 2-0. The hit in the third inning for Davis, the 327th of her career. First 2 years at Louisiana, last 2 years here with Texas Tech, and that one is off the wall on the fly. Davis digging for second, slides in with an RBI double. Back-to-back doubles for Texas Tech in the fourth. They're up by 2.
Hit number 328 now for Maya Davis in her career, and this one is hit hard off the wall out in left field. She got herself into a really good count here, a 2-0 count, knowing that Lupi's going to try to bring something into the zone, hunts a pitch at the top of the zone, and just drills it off the wall out there in left field with a smooth slide into second base to extend the Red Raiders' lead.
Gets away from the catcher. Here comes the runner. It's off the glove of the pitcher trying to cover the plate, and Davis comes all the way around the score. Make sure of it. Teammates told her, make sure you hit that plate, which she did. And it's a run for Texas Tech. 2 quick ones here in response in the fourth.
And we talked about this yesterday. When you're playing Texas Tech, you have to expect the unexpected. And watch Maya Davis here. This ball gets away from Sam Swan back behind the plate, and she is reading this one. Her eyes are on the ball the entire time as she is rounding third base, dives into the plate. She got it on the first pass, too, I will say.
Just barely.
But it still counts.
So it's pass ball, but a 2-base pass ball that allows Davis to score.
The awareness and the aggressiveness, too, to just be on the lookout for that and having her eyes on that pitch to see how far away it gets from Sam Swan to see if she's got a chance to be able to score on that play.
Terry with the ground ball to second, dropped by the second baseman. This is going to be the 4th error of the game for Arizona State in the field. The pass balls don't go into the books as errors, but those costly as well, as Arizona State not helping themselves here today.
And a lot of these ground balls going up the middle, either to shortstop, this time over to second base. And Tiade Ho-Ching gets her feet in the right position, but almost gets a little bit too stationary, doesn't keep her feet moving enough. Watch how they end up just standing still when that ball gets to her. You want to move towards that ball to eliminate any of those funky hops.
Down to third, trying to turn two. Ho-Ching with the turn makes up for the error. And the 5-4-3 double play. 2 down.
Texas Tech aggressive early in the count in this inning, and so this defense has to be ready for those ground balls to be put in play. And it's another nice play over at third base by Emily Shep, too, who you mentioned earlier grew up as a catcher, had to learn the third base position, but she has made some nice plays today over the hot corner.
Second time Williams has grounded to a double play, and it was Shep starting the double play each time. Base is empty, 2 down for Jackie Liss. One and one. Liss, who was a standout at Southern Illinois, first team all-conference 3 times, has hit the ground running in Lubbock.
She's kind of underrated in this lineup, too. When you think about Texas Tech, of course, you think of Nyjah Kennedy, you think about Caitlin Terry and the numbers that she has put up. Think of Taylor Pannell and Mia Williams, but Jackie Liss has had a great year so far for the Red Raiders, too. And I didn't notice this watching it from the center field camera, but when we were down on the field before the game watching batting practice, I noticed the way that her stance was, how her back foot and her body and her hips were almost angled just a little bit towards first and second base. And Coach Glasgow said that kind of just helps her use her lower half and use her legs in her swing. And what I find is that it kind of gives her some extra power driving the ball the opposite direction. She ended up hitting a hard line drive out to right field in yesterday's ball game. And so that slight angle, to me, kind of gives her an advantage to throw her hands towards the outer half of the plate.
0 for 2 today, a couple of ground outs to Shep at third. Shep's got another one. Makes the throw, 5-3 again, 3 times today for Jackie Liss. And that will do it. 2 runs for Jerry Glasgow's team in the 4th. They're on top 6-3. Conversation coming up. Texas Tech on top of Arizona State, 6-3. Jerry Glasgow joins us right now. Jerry, I know you pride yourself on having an aggressive mindset and having an aggressive team. I think that was bold even for you to send a runner from second to home on a pass ball.
I was asleep. She went by me like a freight train. I actually was saying no, because there was nobody out. But I always tell them aggressive to a fault, put pressure on the other team. And that's her game, speed. And heads up to her. If it's been 2 out, I'm all about it. But nobody out. I kind of would have been patient, but she made the right call. She made it pretty easy, actually.
And Coach, we know you have so many great arms on your staff. We're seeing a pitching change here now. Caitlin Terry entering the circle. What is the reason behind that decision? And now Nyjah moving over to first base.
We're going to have fun here the rest of the afternoon. I'm going to have some fun, and hopefully it works. And we're going to flip around here, and Nyjah will be back here in just a second. And I'm hoping this will work. It's something we can use later in the season.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Coach.
You piqued our curiosity, Jerry. Again, thank you. So here is Terry, who was outstanding yesterday. Jerry Glasgow just took off the headset. We appreciate him spending the time with us and answering the questions, but he had work to do, and he took a few steps out to talk to Nyjah Kennedy at first, I think, to let her know that you're coming right back in. Madison, is this a lefty-on-lefty thing, do you think, here right now?
You know, going back, and this was something that we had talked to him about earlier in the week, when you look at that doubleheader game that they had against UTEP, and the benefit of having two-way players on your staff in the circle for Texas Tech is being able to utilize them in a variety of different ways. And here you're seeing now Caitlin Terry, who was playing right field, now she's moved into the pitcher's circle. Nyjah Kennedy's now playing first base. It can essentially be a defensive switch, and you can go back and forth and flip them back and forth every single batter if you wanted to.
Well, you bring in a pitcher, as you saw those numbers, who has had unbelievable success against Arizona State. Previously with UCLA 2 years ago, she threw 4 consecutive complete games, went 4-0, and then last night goes the distance to make it 5-0 in her career against Arizona State.
Now, this is all part of the strategy, too. You're just trying to figure out what's going to be able to give your team the edge. And you already think when you've got arms like Caitlin Terry and Nyjah Kennedy in the circle, that's the edge that you need. But Coach Jerry Glasgow always looking for something else to be able to even add the element of surprise to the game as well, and just add that extra factor for these batters to have to make those quick adjustments literally from one batter to the next.
As he put it, we're going to have a little fun.
Or have a little fun.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
I've got my pencil and my eraser ready.
But your highlighter has been put away for the day.
It has been put away for right now.
That is Madison's official, like, this is locked in. No highlighter right now because there's nothing to lock in when you're doing a game being managed by that man. Avila struck out against Kennedy in the second, battling here against Terry, leading off the fourth in a 3-run game. Line shot, base hit. Terry gave up just 2 hits in her 7 innings of work last night. And Avila comes up with her first base hit of the series.
Like the strategy, too, from Avila, too. Yesterday, she was swinging away against Caitlin Terry. In this at-bat, she's moving her feet through the box. She's slapping maybe to get a better look at some of these pitches, especially those curveballs moving away from the barrel. And it pays off for Yazzie in this at-bat. Love the idea of just trying something different instead of making the same out over and over again. Do something different, change the eye level for the pitcher, and it works out for Avila.
Avila in the season was just 0 for 2 against left-handed pitching. Tried to check, could not. 0-2 the count to Ulrich. Ulrich 0 for 5 against lefties this year. And you've got the number 9 hitter, Ho Ching, on deck, a right-handed hitter. So you could see Terry face Ulrich here, and then Nyjah come in from first to pitch to the right-hand hitting Ho Ching. Another 0-2. This is from Terry. 90 pitches thrown by Caitlin Terry last night in going the distance, getting her 5th shutout of the season. Opponents hitting 167 off of her. Ulrich battling. You know Ulrich wants to do something here. Struggled in the field with the glove. Can she do a little something here at the plate here for Arizona State with her team down by 3?
And this is where you're thinking back to your at-bats last night. What pitches did Caitlin Terry throw to get you out in yesterday's game, and what adjustments can you make with your swing?
She's made the adjustments. That's gone. Brooklyn Ulrich goes deep. Number 6 on the season. Back to a one-run game.
Brooklyn Ulrich gets to a 2-strike count. She is battling, but you could tell with her swings that she was reading these pitches out of the hand of Caitlin Terry, trying to get her timing, trying to figure out how to get solid barrel on those pitches, and she does exactly that. You think back to last night, had 2 strikeouts, struck out on the curveball, and I think that time Caitlin Terry was trying to go back away with the curveball, and instead that pitch misses just enough for Brooklyn Ulrich to take advantage of it and bring Arizona State within 1 run of Texas Tech in the bottom of the 4th inning. And I tell you what, Eric, these swings are completely different than what we saw from this team last night, what we saw from this team through the first couple of innings of the game. And Brooklyn Ulrich just absolutely clobbers this one. Even Victoria Valdez, catching back behind the plate, knew it. As soon as that ball left the bat, it was leaving the yard.
That has to feel amazing for Brooklyn Ulrich after a 3-error inning to step up and hit a 2-run home run to make it a 1-run game in the 4th. And Kennedy is back in the circle, replacing Terry. I don't think this is the fun that Jerry Glasgow envisioned with this lefty on lefty. Credit to Arizona State. They made the adjustments after a tough night against Terry last night. They get the single in the home run. Caitlin goes back out to right field as Kennedy moves to the circle and Liss heads back to first. So here is Tiade Ho-Ching. Popped to short her first time. Strike 1. Three home runs in the last 2 innings for Arizona State. 12th time this season that Arizona State has hit 3 or more in a game. Ho-Ching with the ground ball, backhanded by Tony. Made a tricky play, looked pretty easy. 1 down.
That ground ball again kind of took a funky hop. That last hop too, where Haley Tony went for the backhand, and she's smiling after that play too. Sometimes the ball just happens to hop right into your glove, but she gets herself in a good position to be able to make this play. Goes for the backhand and a good throw all the way across. Did kind of move back just a little bit on that hop, but it worked out for out number 1.
Top of the order, Wendell homered against Kennedy her last time. Takes ball 1. Kennedy hits Wendell, who will take first base. Second time she's been hit today. She's been on board all 3 times she stepped to the plate.
That one probably hurt a bit more than the first one. The first one was a changeup that Nyjah held on to a bit too long. That one definitely a bit more firm, probably 70 miles per hour coming in right on the elbow guard. But you see her reaction right after she gets hit. She is fired up because she knows that this is continued momentum for her team. They're going to try to pile on as many runs as they can in the bottom of the 4th.
Ball 1 to Kaylee Pond. Some pop in the lineup right now. Pond with 14 home runs on the season. Swan with 10. Shep hit her 10th earlier today. This is lifted to left field, not deep enough to leave the yard as Spearman's got it for round number 2.
I don't know about you, Eric, but I was kind of surprised when we got back to the top of the lineup that we didn't see Caitlin Terry coming back into the game, and I wonder if it had to do with the Ulrich home run. Just thinking with what Coach Glasgow said and trying to utilize those lefty-lefty matchups, especially with the top of the order coming up, and the success that she had against them yesterday.
Now also brought in Terry after pitching so great last night, but gives up the hit, gives up the home run in the lefty-lefty, and sometimes you just gotta say, I'm gonna cut my losses right here. We'll try this experiment maybe tomorrow. This is hit well to right field, but there is Terry. She's got it to retire the side. But a 2-run home run off the bat of Brooklyn Ulrich brings Arizona State within 1.
How about the shortstop getting Arizona State right back into this ball game? A 2-strike curveball on the inner half, and Ulrich sends it out of the yard.
Tonight on ABC, Game 4, Nuggets, Timberwolves. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq will start our coverage at 8 Eastern Time. Minnesota up 2-1 over Denver. Texas Tech up 6-5 over Arizona State as we head to top of the 5th inning. Ball's been leaving the yard here today. Madison's been doing the home run tracker from coast to coast. Usually her eyes go right to Norman, which is a safe bet because the Sooners have done it again.
Added a few more home runs to their total for the season so far.
167 home runs and counting. They add to their NCAA single season record with each long ball. They beat Georgia 3-1 today. Would I surprise you if I told you Kendall Wells hit a home run?
Up to number 36
I
on
would
the year.
not
Now
surprise you, apparently.
Nope,
yeah.
nope, you would not surprise me. She's now one shy of Lauren Espinosa's 37. That record for the single season was set back in 1995. That 36th home run, too, was a laser out to right field.
Opposite field shot that was not many feet off the ground, but it was it was a few rows deep in the stands. What an impressive performance. Kendall Wells, number 35 yesterday, number 36 today. Taylor Panel fouls it off. 1 for 2 today. She hit her 7th home run of the season yesterday, helping Texas Tech to their current total of 106 on the season. UCLA is hanging in there. You see 167 and you're like, wow, they must be so far and away ahead of number 2. But when you got Megan Grant
and Jordan Woolery, I don't
Woolery.
know if you could qualify 159 home runs as hanging in there.
I am. Nice try, kids.
Megan Grant setting records of her own.
Panel with a line shot. That's hooking foul. She hit her 32nd, so that's a new UCLA single season record. 7-5 win for the Bruins yesterday over Washington.
The offenses really have been impressive across the country. I mean, we're talking UCLA, we're talking Oklahoma. We've seen great offense here in this series too, and we
going to drop in Issa Torres for you for Florida
Issa
State.
Torres
Home
too.
runs yesterday for her.
We were even talking about Issa Torres earlier this week and wondering when teams are going to get to the point where they just put her on base. Just go ahead and walk down to first base because of the way that she has been swinging the bat. I actually got a chance to talk a bit with Danielle Laurie just about Issa Torres and how good she is, and she made the comparison of when you finally get to watch somebody like Nyjari Kennedy and get to sit behind home plate and appreciate just how good her rise ball is when you see it in person. She had the same feelings finally getting to watch Issa Torres in person and just how good she is and how consistent and strong, and the way that she has plate discipline too to go along with the consistency that she brings with her at-bats.
Panel with a leadoff walk for Texas Tech here in the 5th. Now bring up Desiree Spearman. Home run last night, 0 for 2 today. One hop to the shortstop, bobbled again. The throw to first is going to be in time, but no chance for the double play. Probably wouldn't have the chance anyway with Spearman speed. So Panel gets the second, one down.
The only thing I would say on that play, had she fielded it cleanly, you prevent a runner from moving over into scoring position. She probably goes 2 if that one goes securely in her glove, but it's the right choice. As soon as that ball skips out of your glove, you just try to get it out. Make sure you get the sure out, and there, her only chance was to fire across to first base, and that's exactly what she did.
Meeting in the circle. Josh Bargfeld, pitching coach for Arizona State. Megan Bartlett's going to come out as well. Think we'll have a change here. Yes, we will. And guess who's coming into the game for Arizona State? All-American Kenzie Brown. Ace of the Arizona State staff coming in a one-run game in the 5th here in Tempe. Tight one here in the 5th, game 2 of the series between Texas Tech and Arizona State. One-run lead for Tech, and in this tight game steps the ace for Arizona State, Kenzie Brown, who got the start last night for the Sun Devils.
Ended up throwing 6 innings in that game, had 10 strikeouts in those 6 innings. It really just came down to 2 mistakes, 2 mistake pitches that she threw to these Texas Tech batters that they were able to take advantage of, but she threw extremely well. I completely agree with Coach Bartlett after the game last night when she said she doesn't feel like the score was really a good indicator of just how great that game was and how great Kenzie Brown threw. And a lot of it has to do with, one, her velocity that she brings consistently, high 60s, low 70s, but also her ability to change the eye levels and work every single part of the strike zone. And she was doing that last night. Started off the night throwing a lot of those rise balls. She's going to get swings and misses at the top of the zone. And as that game went on, you saw her starting to work that drop ball more and more. As Texas Tech started to look for the rise, that's when you bring in the other pitch. That's when you completely change the direction in which you're throwing your pitches. And that's how you get to a double-digit strikeouts in just 6 innings.
First pitch to Haley Toney, swung on and missed for strike 1. Toney has reached base twice, singled in the second, walked in the third. Mika Lupi walked 4, went 4 innings plus, 5 hits, 6 runs, 1 earned. 0-2 the count to Toney. Brown, the 5th-year senior from Lake City, Illinois. The 0-2. Rolled over right side, Ho-Ching to first for the out. Moving to third is Panel. 2 down.
With those swings Haley Toney was taking, it looked like she was doing whatever she could to try to pull the ball to the right side of the field. A bit of situational hitting there by Haley Toney just to get Taylor Panel over to third base and advance her an additional 60 feet.
Pitch hitter for Texas Tech, it's Jasmine Burns, All-American at Ohio State season ago. Junior steps in after hitting .455 last year, hitting .347, good pop, 12 home runs this season.
Had 25 home runs last season at Ohio State.
72 RBI, chance to bring one in here with Panel at third. Jazzy from Menifee, California, getting her first plate appearance of this series here this afternoon. The 1-0. Hitter. Runners on the corners with 2 down for Texas Tech.
That first pitch of the at-bat going away. Can hear it just clip right off of the elbow guard on that left arm. Tried to work the rise ball up and underneath the hands so that Jazzy Burns couldn't get extended. And just let that one go a bit too far inside. Now runners on the corners, 2 away.
Pinch runner as Logan Holloman will run for Burns. Panel at third, Holloman at first. Allred at the plate. There goes the runner. Throw back to the pitcher. Second and third with 2 down for Tech.
I think we were all sitting there watching the runners trying to figure out what Coach Glasgow was going to call in that first and third situation.
Off the plate for a ball, it's 1-1. Allred reached on an error and scored in the third, doubled and scored in the fourth. '29 RBI last year, led the team in that category a season ago with 54. It's in the middle of the lineup last night. Hit 5th, but dropped down to 9th here today.
Had a couple of strikeouts against Kenzie Brown, but was hit by a pitch in yesterday's ball game.
Three and one. popped up. Playable right in front of the dugout. It's been a good day for Shep. She makes the catch, and that ends the threats. Texas Tech 6, Arizona State 5 after 4.5 in Tempe. ESPN is your home for the Women's College World Series. Coverage begins May 28th on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. One of the teams that played in the Champs Series on the field here today, Texas Tech, fell in 3 to Texas. Madison Shipman couldn't begin to predict the teams that will meet in the championship series in OKC. I wouldn't ask you to do that.
Please do not make me predict, because with the way that this season has been going, it has been wild. There is parity all across the country, and I am here for it. Talked about Kendall Wells and her 36th home run of the season. Just a freshman, I need to remind everybody about too. But Megan Grant, a couple of home runs against Washington. She also won a national championship with the UCLA basketball team this season as well. Pretty cool stat to add to the resume, I would say.
Two-sport athlete. Here's Emily Shep to lead things off for Arizona State. She's had a good game. 1 for 2 at the plate, 2-run home run. She's been good in the field. Swing the pop out to Tony, 1 down here in the 5th. A couple of key results in the ACC. Clemson with a bounce back against Duke to end Duke's 7-game winning streak today, so they'll play for the series tomorrow. Florida State in a tight one with Georgia Tech, 4-3 over the Yellow Jackets after winning 4-0 last night. Jazzy Franzik with the no-hitter last night. I believe at last check, Issa Torres, by the way, Madeline, is 1 for 3. Which, of course, is going to drop her average like a rock to 583.
Oh, just 583.
Glove by Tony on the backhand. The throw to first is in time to get Mejia 2 down.
You can tell that Haley Tony is really comfortable with her backhand and going into that 5-6 hole. And watch the way that she goes down with her legs. So she's not just reaching down with her glove, but she is using her legs, and that knee is almost right down on the ground. But the trust that she has in her arm strength, too, to be able to throw from that deep into the 5-6 hole, making those plays look easy. How could you not love it, too, if you're Nyjah out there in the circle?
Here's Katie Chester. Chester could certainly tie it with 1 swing of the bat. Team high 17 home runs on the season. 2-0. Chester walked in the 2nd, struck out in the 3rd. Ball 3. Mentioned the Oklahoma win over Georgia earlier today. They've taken the first 2 games of that series in Norman. South Carolina and Texas A&M even at a game apiece in that series. Texas A&M with a 2-1 win today after South Carolina picked up the win in game 1. Alabama and Tennessee kicking off a 3-game series tonight in Knoxville. That's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series in the SEC. A couple of top 10 teams.
Alabama's sitting in 2nd place in the SEC right now, too. Seems like that's going to be a huge series for both of those teams. Game 1, the start time for today's game ended up getting pushed back a few hours.
Kennedy gets the strikeout. Chester thought maybe it was off the plate, but Nyjah celebrating the K, a 1-2-3 inning for the All-American.
Ton of emotion coming out of Nyjah Kennedy because she knows that this game is so close and she wants to hang on to this 1-run lead. A great-looking curveball gets the call on the outer half. Nyjah loves it, Victoria Valdez loves it, and Texas Tech loves it. They still hanging on to the 1-run lead.
Week 5 of the UFL season. Tomorrow on ABC doubleheader, Columbus and Houston at noon Eastern time. That's followed by Louisville and Dallas, all coming up tomorrow. Back in Tempe, we head to the 6th inning. It's a good one. Texas Tech with a 6-5 lead over Arizona State. Raiders won game 1 last night 6-0. That came against Kenzie Brown, who went the first 6 innings last night, giving up 4 runs. She's on in relief here this afternoon and working at the top of the order. Maya Davis leading off. Oh, and 2 to count to Davis, who walked in the first, singled and scored in the third, doubled in a run and scored in the fourth.
And she's been hitting away today. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on her feet to see if she moves through the batter's box. In yesterday's game against Brown, she ended up going to the slap, so tried to go back to the short game. She showed bunt on that foul ball, so let's see if she makes an adjustment here with 2 strikes. Does she go back to that slap like we saw yesterday?
Swings away, fouls it off. We'll do the 0-2 again. Caitlin Terry waits on deck.
Good looking off-speed pitch, a hard pitch to take, especially when you're behind 0-2. The way that that pitch moved down and away from Maya Davis, a good location and a good spot. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss against Davis.
Fly ball to left. That's Avila out and left now. She puts it away for out number 1. Caitlin Terry at the plate. Walked in the first, reached on an error and scored in the third, reached on another error in the fourth. 4 costly errors for Arizona State in the field today, leading to 5 unearned Texas Tech runs. Caitlin came into the game hitting .504 on the season, good for 5th in Division I. Madison broke down her unique stance last night, where her toes are pointing to the pitcher instead of the plate.
You could almost look too and compare her swings back in February and March, and then now here towards the end of the April, her stance has gotten more and more open as this season has gone on. And we did ask Coach Glasgow if that was something that he introduced to her, but he said that that was something that she really kind of did on her own, maybe based off of a drill that her and Coach Glasgow had done. But obviously she feels comfortable doing it.
Who am I to say? I look at it and said, how can that work? And then I look down and like, oh, she's hitting .504 entering the game here today.
And that was one of the funniest things too, because Coach Glasgow saw the power potential in her swing, and at the beginning of the year, she's batting .500, but a lot of them were singles. He wanted her to unlock that powerful swing that she has. So he really didn't want to say anything too, because she's batting .500. What can you say? But he finally talked to her about it and wanted her to really drive the ball with authority, and she's done exactly that in the back half of the season. And she's still doing it at a .500 clip too, no less.
9 home runs on the season, 8 coming in the last 26 games. That's inside for a ball, and Terry is aboard. Frustration in the field for Arizona State. Katie Chester leading the chorus at first base after she was called out on strikes and didn't agree with it.
Getting a little sporty down there, Eric, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the emotion. You can feel how badly Arizona State wants that pitch called, and even a little bit of a bat toss, I'm going to call it, from Caitlin Terry on that walk as she threw that bat back towards the dugout.
Mia Williams with a pop-up, and it's in the second row.
You know, and I don't blame Arizona State for wanting that pitch called for a strike two. You're facing a left-handed batter, and it's a curveball out of the hand of Kenzie Brown. So you're thinking at some point, if the ball did not hit Caitlin Terry, especially with her toes right up on the chalk line, that ball probably clipped a piece of the plate on its way to Sam Swan back behind the dish.
One and one to Mia Williams. Grounded into a double play in the first, again in the fourth, reached on an error and scored in the third. 68th run scored by Williams this year. That's tops in the Big 12. Ground ball again to third. Can this be 3 double plays? No. Mia Williams was running for her life down the line.
And she's running like that because Emily Shep is a machine over at the hot corner today. Another ground ball finds its way over to third base, and Shep is ready for it. You see how she hops before that ground ball gets put into play. What that can do is put your rhythm in motion so that you can get to those balls quicker. Have that first step just be a hair faster so that you can make those types of plays. And she has been putting on a clinic over there.
Jackie Liss looks at ball one, and if you're Mia Williams, you hit a ground ball, you're like, I cannot be the person who hits into 3 double plays. This is the fastest I'm ever going to go from home to first in my career, right this moment.
Record-breaking speed down the first baseline.
There's the strike, 1-1 to Liss. 0 for 3 today. Guess what? All 3 hit outs, ground outs to Shep at third base.
So between the 3 and 4 spots in this Texas Tech order, that's now 5 ground balls that have made their way over to Emily Shep.
Mika Lupi got the start, went 4, gave up 5 hits, just 1 earned run. Kenzie Brown, the senior coming in on senior day, try to keep it a 1-run game. The 1-2. Ground ball to the shortstop. The throw on to first for the outs. Ulrich to Chester to retire the side. To the bottom of the 6th we go in a 1-run game. Welcome back to the Big 12 on ESPN, back at Farrington Stadium, Arizona State University. Bottom of the 6th inning. It's Texas Tech on top of Arizona State, 6-5. You see that third column, the errors, leading to 5 unearned runs for Texas Tech. Nigeri Kennedy started, came out of the game, now back on in the circle. She's going head-to-head right now with Kenzie Brown.
Those errors are really the big difference in this ball game, because if you came into today and you told Coach Megan Bartlett you're going to hit 3 home runs against a combination of Nigeri Kennedy and Caitlin Terry in the circle, you're going to think you're going to have the lead and the win in those games all day long. But those errors were costly, but a lot of credit to this offense for Arizona State for battling their way back in this game.
Yazzie Avila leading off for Arizona State. 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 4th. 3 runs in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th for Arizona State, trying to even up this series. Arizona State 35-14. Megan Bartlett's team 8-11 in the Big 12, but just 8 teams are going to the Big 12 tournament, so they are right in the mix for a final spot. Came into play today 7th in the Big 12, just ahead of Utah, who was 8th, and then Iowa State 9th. It's going to come down to that final weekend of the season to determine the 8 teams in the field, it would appear. Back to Kennedy, flip to first, 1 down.
We've seen a lot of impressive teams in the Big 12 so far this year. We got a chance to be in Stillwater last weekend for their series against Arizona. Oklahoma State with a couple of big wins last weekend too. Had a big midweek win, one over Oklahoma, and then the next week a big midweek win over Texas. So they seem to be heating up at the right time, right behind Ruby Malin in the circle.
Had a comeback last night against Baylor. They were down 2-0, scored 4 in the 7th to pick up the win over the Bears.
Kansas had a comeback win over Iowa State earlier today too. They were down 2-0 to Iowa State, came back and won that game. Coach Jennifer McFalls has done a really good job with that program this year. They continue to get better and better each and every year.
You are giving me real-time updates right now, Madison. So that means Kansas is 13-8. Entered play today, 4th place in the Big 12. That misses for a ball 1-2 now to Brooklyn Ulrich.
It's always fun, too, when these conference standings, especially for the tournaments, come down to the very last weekend of the regular season. That means that you have to do a lot of math as far as who needs to win how many games in order to be in certain spots in the tournament. I leave that math over to you, though, Eric.
Ulrich fouls it off. Well, coming into play today, Texas Tech was up 4 games in the loss column against Arizona. Tech at 17-2, and Arizona at 13-6. So Texas Tech win here today would clinch no less than a tie for the regular season title in the Big 12. Last year, Texas Tech went 20-4 in the Big 12. Count now 3-2. Good job by Ulrich at the plate. Long at bat against Kennedy. Kennedy wins the battle, gets the strikeout, her 7th. 2 down. Our ESPN coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs continues tomorrow night. A pair of Game 4s. Lightning, Canadiens, 7 Eastern time. Montreal up 2-1. Oilers, Ducks follows. Anaheim on top 2-1. The road to the Cup on ABC rolls on. Ho-Ching at the plate, 0 for 2 today. One to 1. Two and 1 to the number 9 hitter for Arizona State.
Coach Jerry Glasgow looks like he's chatting with Haley Decker down that first base line. We joked about it yesterday. Had we had enough time, I think Coach Glasgow and I would still be down there.
That's no joke. That's no joke. I have to separate you two. Fly ball to the center fielder. Davis puts it away. A 1-2-3 inning for Nyjah Kennedy. She's retired 8 in a row. And we head to the 7th with Texas Tech on top 6-5. Another great crowd here today. 2,035 the attendance here at Farrington Stadium. 2,051 was the count last night to see the first place team in the Big 12. 5th ranked Texas Tech take on Arizona State here in Tempe. We've played 6. It's a 1-run game with Panel, Spearman, and Tony due up for Texas Tech, looking for some insurance, and someone's looking for a snack. locked in right now.
Got a snack, the hat. Perfect weather for softball and a great one-run game as we head into the 7th inning. Couldn't ask for anything
Almost looked like there was more napping than drinking right there, which on a warm day,
it's an in-between inning nap.
Okay.
Just a little power nap, right?
Power nap for the little one?
Yeah.
Start them young on the power naps. I like that. Panel 1 for 2 with an RBI and a walk today.
This is the part of the lineup, too, that did damage against Kenzie Brown yesterday.
Look at those eyes.
Oh.
I mean, we're in solid REM sleep. Oh, no. No. I thought we were in deep REM sleep there, but I just saw an eyelash, a hand move. Perfect.
I like the location of that pitch, a screwball on the inner half. We saw Taylor Panel yesterday take a first pitch changeup deep out to center field, came up and hit a double-2 on a rise ball that was up and away. I like the idea of trying to work inside, seeing if she can't get extended on those rise balls in.
Line shot just out of the reach of Shep. Jerry Glasgow wasn't going to try to kick save that one. Too smart for that, like he did earlier. Got to pick your battles down there, Jerry. That's one to matrix out of the way from. .300 wins in his time at Louisiana, 7 seasons. Just brought that winning touch to Lubbock. 54 wins last year. Talked with us yesterday about the inconsistency of this team bothering him, but he also in the same breath would say, I thought we'd be undefeated at this time in the season. And it wasn't hyperbole. He just really thought, looking at it, that he had that kind of team. Looped out towards right center field, Ho-Ching under it. Panel retired, 1 down.
It just goes to show you just how talented this team is top to bottom when he's talking about some of the inconsistency that he's seen from the team. And we're talking about 4 losses on the season. Just 4 losses, but 3 of those 4 losses were shutouts. And to me, that's where he's seeing the inconsistency, seeing the inconsistency in the at-bats, in the approaches, and not being able to string together runs.
When he told us this team, he really believes could win the national championship or lose in the regional round, do you believe him?
Yes. I believe him because, one, we see the potential and the power and the arms that they have in the circle. But if you're going out there and you have one of those days where top to bottom you can't score runs, and it's not so much that they were hitting the ball hard and it was going right to people, but you and I were talking about it before today's game. In those games, a lot of them were pitches that were down in the zone, low 60s, and a lot of off-speed pitches. So they were getting way out in front and a lot of ground ball outs, and you kind of saw the same swings over and over again from this team. And it surprises me, too, when I watch those games because each one of the individuals on this Texas Tech team has such a unique swing that there's no one pitch, one singular pitch that you can throw to this entire lineup and be able to get them out consistency. That's the beauty of having a bunch of different types of swings in your lineup, that when you do face somebody, you've got players that have strengths at the top of the zone. You have players that have strengths at the bottom part of the zone, but it did feel like it was the same swing over and over again in those 3 shutout losses.
Brown doesn't get the call against Spearman. Laughs it off, points to her catcher, Samantha Swan. Crowd's not laughing right now. 2-2 the count to Spearman. Full count.
But I will say that it is hard to lose games when you have pitching performances like we saw from Caitlin Terry yesterday, where it's a complete game shutout.
I mean, Nyjah hasn't been unhittable today, but through 6 innings of work total, she's given up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 2, 7 strikeouts. I mean, that's a quality performance. Spearman wide at third. Terry was not who we saw last night, and coming in relief after going the distance last night, Jerry Glasgow told us in our in-game interview, trying some things here, and this is the time to do it in April as you are now towards the end of the regular season. You've got conference tournament play coming up, and then it's into the regionals.
And the idea of trying to maximize the amount of arms that you have on your staff too, and the arms that you have at your disposal, and how can you best deploy them against some of these great offenses.
Spearman, that's going to stay foul. But when you look at what this staff, the pitching staff, has done for Texas Tech, coming in with a 1.68 earned run average, 4th in Division I. Opponents hitting 167. We haven't seen Samantha Lincoln, who has pitched well for Texas Tech, the youngster this year.
70 miles per hour down in the zone with the lefty drop ball.
Another 3-2. We'll do it again. So if you get that pitching and the bats do what Glasgow thinks they can do, yeah, you can see this team heading back to Champ Series in Oklahoma City again. But the bats go cold and Nyjah has an off day or Terry has an off day. Like, that's softball. Like, you can say that for any of the top teams in the country, no question about it. But if you get that kind of performance you got last night from Terry, and you get Nyjah being Nyjah, Spearman's going to be safe at first. The appeal said she checked her swing. That's the combination they didn't have last year when they put everything on Nyjah's shoulders. We showed you the numbers before, and all those pitches she threw in the NCAA tournament to that Champ Series. That's different for Texas Tech this year with Terry's addition. Ball one to Haley Toney. Toney's been aboard twice today. Singled in the second, walked in the third. 2 hits, 2 walks in the series. That's going to head out of play. I think that's what makes the next month so exciting is I feel that there's more than just a handful of teams that could go on a run and could be in that Champ Series in Oklahoma City. It always feels sometimes like there's just a select few, but this year, doesn't it feel like there's just a little bit of a bigger pool of teams in the mix?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think too what adds to the excitement is seeing how these teams adjust to adversity, especially late in the season. Think about Texas last year. There was a point where it looked like they were going to get knocked out in the Super Regional against Clemson.
Throw back to first, not in time.
They were, what, 1 out away from losing at home in Austin to Clemson, but they clawed their way back, figured out a way to win, and then went on to win the national championship.
And we were there at the regional. We were there at the end of regular season. They were still trying to figure out a lot of things, you know, how the lineup fit or who was playing in what position. That's, you know, May that they're trying to figure that stuff out. Toney down on strikes, 2 down.
That changeup for Kenzie Brown, first strikeout on the day for her, but that's just one of those pitches 2 out of the hand. Looks like the rise ball, and it just drops off of the table. All comes down to the deception with those off-speed pitches to try to get swings and misses, especially swings and misses way out in front like the one we just saw.
First time a Texas Tech batter has gone down on strikes, period, today. First strikeout for anybody on the Arizona State staff. Vic Valdez back at the plate. Burns hit for her in the 5th, was hit by a pitch. Valdez is 0 for 2. Another snap throw down to first, and once again Spearman back. Top of the order for Arizona State in the bottom of the 7th. Wendell, Pond, and Swan due up. One and 2 the count to Valdez. inside for a ball. Texas Tech scored 4 times in the third, twice in the fourth. Kenzie Brown came on with 1 out in the 5th inning. She's hit a batter, walked a couple, but has not given up a hit until now. First hit of the season for Valdez. Spearman being waved around. Here comes the throw. It's in time. The tag is put on a second time for the out. Spearman thinks she's safe. There will certainly be a challenge here for Texas Tech. Here's the announcement.
Well, there's a lot to unpack on this play.
Start
Eric,
unpacking,
but
Madison.
First of all, Victoria Valdez with a great swing on this drop ball inside. She swung and missed earlier in the at-bat, drives that one hard down the left field line for her first hit of the season, and it comes at a great time. She smokes this one. Desiree Spearman started at first base, so she rounds second base hard, rounds third base hard, kind of avoids the bat here, and it's a slide dive around the tag of Sam Swan. Let's see if she got that right hand in there. So tough to tell from these angles. We've had a lot of close plays in our replays today.
Here's the key, Madison. There's no call from the umpire initially, so that would indicate to me that the runner didn't touch the plate and the runner wasn't tagged, and now here comes the out call at the plate. But did the runner Spearman get the hand in there first?
See, and I think on the second play, on the second tag, it looked to me like the tag was applied before Spearman got her hand in. So my question is, going back to the initial attempt to hit home plate, did she touch home plate? There's going to be a lot to look at on this play. Not just that final tag, too, but I think you've got to go back, to the initial tag or a tag attempt to see if Desiree Spearman touched home plate or if she was even tagged on that attempt.
Spearman went back as though she didn't get it. This is what you're talking about, Madison.
That's a great move, too, by Spearman. See how she almost moves that left hand out of the way.
Can't see that right hand touching the plate, though. You can barely catch a glimpse of it, and that's going to be the challenging thing here. Do they have enough on the camera angle and in the replay to overturn it? Because you can see part of it there, making the great dive around the tag, but did she make contact with the plate on the backside?
I'm not sure if she touched home plate.
No, she didn't touch home plate.
So it doesn't look like she touches home plate, but I don't think she was tagged either right here.
Now the question is, did Swan get her on the left hand there? I think on that angle, I don't see Spearman making contact. That's why she went back to the plate. And also, the umpire making the call at the plate made no indication. So that tells you she wasn't tagged and she had not hit the plate. Now the question is, does she sneak this right hand in on the plate before the glove makes any contact with the body? And the call in real time, out.
Yes, yes. I feel like I'm in a spot again similar to earlier today, where every angle that we're seeing, I kind of changed my mind on the call. That last angle that we had almost from the shot of first base looked like she got that hand, that right hand in there the second time before the tag was applied. But watching it from the other angles, to me it looks like she was tagged before she touched home plate.
Here's the call. See the reaction, lower left, Kenzie Brown, hand to the mouth, couldn't believe it. So a change on the call. Spearman is safe after coming back, and we can only assume it was on that second attempt to tag the plate. We watched that first part, we didn't see any contact there.
And the umpires didn't mention anything about obstruction or anything like that being a part of the call. They just said that the call was changed on the field. So they saw indisputable video evidence that Desiree Spearman got that right hand in there before she was tagged.
It was that undisputable. I think we can dispute that.
But the way that throw beat Desiree Spearman there. So that all comes down to the athleticism of the dive and the swim move around Samantha Swan to get that right hand even close in there, and then the awareness to go back to the base.
Great athletic play, no question. Speaking of athletes, you mentioned it. Kudos to Vic Valdez. Her first hit of the season is a double that brings in a run.
A huge insurance run, too, in this ball game.
So she is now 1 for 18 on the season. Little bloop. Shep, another out, and that will do it. An insurance run for Texas Tech, up by 2 after 6.5 here in Tempe.
First hit of the season comes at a great time for Victoria Valdez, but it's Desiree Spearman with the athletic swim move, not just going through home plate one time, but coming back to make sure she gets the out. Call is overturned, and Texas Tech loves it.
I believe the worst is almost done. The best is yet to come.
Texas Tech up by 2. Let's just put a bow on that play at the plate. We're going to take a look at it again from the camera beyond the left field foul pole.
You know, I talked about something with obstruction and possibly if that was what they were looking at, but to me, there is no obstruction here. One, the throw beats Desiree Spearman in plenty of time, and two, the footwork by Samantha Swan. She is out of the way of that leading edge of the plate, but such an athletic play from Spearman to avoid the tag, the awareness to get back to home plate. Now, it was so close that, I don't know about you, but I am surprised that they overturned that call.
Agreed.
With as close as it was at the plate.
Just based on what angles we had,
Yes,
we don't know in their vantage point what they had to look at in the replay. And also, too, there was just that little hesitation by Swan at the plate after the initial tag. Like, there was just, well, what's the call? And there was no movement by the umpire, which is like, oh, there is no call.
That's
Play
what you
still
wonder,
on.
too. Yeah, she's looking at the umpire, looking for that call, and then goes back
and that little
to make
split
the play.
second
Yep.
made a big difference. Chance here, though, for Arizona State. And the umpires, you can see in that replay, too, from the left field corner, which is a great angle of it. They had rotated, three-man crew, so the first base umpire came down to make the call at the plate, Garrett Knowles. Down goes Windle, out number 1 here in the 7th. Kennedy is locked in. Maybe she was on a bit of a roller coaster in the first half of the game, but thrill ride's over because she has just been dealing in the last 3 innings.
And you see the locations of where she's been able to throw that changeup, too. The way that she's been throwing it more in the bottom part of the inning. Looking at the numbers, too, give up the 3 hits and the 3 runs in the first 4 innings. 0 hits and 0 runs in her last 7 batters that she's faced. Arizona fans not happy about that call down in the zone, probably wanting that pitch to be called when Mika Lupi was out there in the circle throwing the drop balls low in the zone. Hitting coach Josh Bloomer coming over to have a chat with Kaylee Pond, and I think also to maybe voice a bit of frustration about that last call against Kaylee Pond.
Last Sun Devil to reach base was Wendell when she was hit by a pitch by Kennedy in the 4th. Since then, 9 in a row set down by the All-American. Half swing down to 3rd. Panel over the list, 2 down. These 2 teams will wrap up the 3-game series tomorrow, 1 p.m. local, 3 Central Time. And here is Samantha Swan. 0 for 2 today, 0 for 5 in the series.
I've really been impressed, too, by the way that Arizona State, has come out and swung the bats today. It can be a bit deflating, too, when you face somebody like Caitlin Terry, and she was as dominant as she was through the 7 innings of Game 1. But then to come out today with this tenacity and aggressiveness in the way that they were swinging the bats, to have 3 home runs leave the yard against this team. Now, unfortunate for them that they had those errors that ended up being so costly in Game 2. But I do think that you can carry some momentum into Game 3. Now for Texas Tech, too, just capitalizing on those mistakes. It's one thing for the other team to make those errors and make those miscues, but what do you do with them? How can you take advantage of that? And that's what Texas Tech did today.
Swan in on the hands, out drop foul, and Arizona State is down to their final strike. They homered twice against Nyjah Kennedy. Shep, a 2-run shot. Wendell, a solo shot. Ulrich also hit a 2-run home run. That was against Terry. So Arizona State has done some good things against Texas Tech, but they haven't been able to do it since the 4th inning. Kennedy locked in. Foul ball at the plate. We'll do it again. Caitlin Terry, 19-1 on the season after the win last night. Nyjah Kennedy looking for her 19th win. And she's got it with the strikeout. The All-American got better as the game went along after she came back into the game dominant in the end in a win for Texas Tech.
That changeup just devastating. The difference maker today for Nyjah Kennedy to give them not just the win today, but the series win against Arizona State.
They will play for the outright regular season title tomorrow here against Arizona State. For Madison Shipman and our crew, I'm Eric Freed. So long from Tempe. Let's get you to baseball.